Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Chapter 11. Quiddich. As they entered November, the weather turned very cold. The mountains around the school became icy gray, and the lake lay chilled still. Every morning the ground was covered in frost. Hagrid could be seen from the upstairs windows, defrosting broomstick on the cottage pitch, bundled up in a long moleskin overcoat, rabbit fur gloves, and enormous beaverskin boots. The Quidditch season had begun. On Saturday, Harry would be playing in his first match after weeks of training. Gryffindor versus Slytherin. If Gryffindor won, they would move out into second place in the house championship. Hardly anyone had seen Harry play because Wood had decided that, as their secret weapon, Harry should be kept well secret. But the news that he was playing Seeker had leaked out somehow, and Harry didn't know which was worse. People telling him they'd be brilliant, or people telling him they'd be running around underneath him, holding a mattress. It was really lucky that Harry now had Hermione as a friend. He didn't know how he'd have got through all his homework without her. What with all the last-minute Quidditch practice Wood was making them do. She had also lent him Quidditch Through the Ages, which turned out to be a very interesting read. Harry learned that there were 700 ways of committing a Quidditch foul, and that all of them had happened during a World Cup match in 1473. That Seekers were usually the smallest and fastest player, and that most serious Quidditch accidents seemed to happen to them. That although people rarely died playing Quidditch, refereeing had been known to vanish and turned up months later in the Sahara Desert. Hermione had become a bit more relaxed about breaking rules since Harry and Ron had saved her from the mountain troll, and she was much nicer for it. The day before Harry's first Quidditch match, the three of them were out in the freezing courtyard during break, and she had conjured them up a bright blue fire, which could be carried around the jam jar. They were standing with their backs to it, getting warmth. When Snape crossed the yard, Harry noticed at once that Snape was limping. Harry, Ron, and Hermione moved closer together to block and fire from view. They were sure it wouldn't be allowed. Unfortunately, something about their guilty face caught Snape's eyes. He limped over. He hadn't seen the fire, but he seemed to be looking for a reason to tell them off anyway. "What's that you've got there, Potter?" It was Quidditch Through the Ages. Harry showed him. "Library books are not to taken outside the school," said Snape. "Give it to me. 5 points from Gryffindor." "He's just made that rule up," Harry muttered angrily as Snape limped away. "Wonder what's wrong with his leg. Dunno, but I hope it's really hurting him," said Ron badly. The Gryffindor common room was very noisy that evening. Harry, Ron, and Hermione sat together next to the window. Hermione was checking Harry and Ron's chum's homework for them. She would never let them copy. How will you learn? But by asking her to read it through, they got the right answers away anyway. Harry felt restless. He wanted Quidditch through the ages back. He to take his mind off to his nerves or about tomorrow. Why should he be afraid of Snape getting up? He told Ron and Hermione he was going to ask Snape if he could have to. Rather you than me, they said together. But Harry had an idea that Snape wouldn't refuse it. There were other teachers listening. He made his way down to the staff room and knocked. There was no answer. He knocked it again. Nothing. Perhaps Snape had left the book in there. It was worth a try. He pushed the door ajar and peered inside, and a horrible scene met his eyes. Snape and Filch was inside, alone. Snape was holding his robes above his knees. One of his legs was bloody and mangled. Filch was handled Snape bandage. Blessed thing, Snape was saying. How are you supposed to keep your eyes on all three heads at once? Harry tried to shut the door quietly, but Potter! Snape's face was twisting with fury as he dropped his robes quickly to hide his leg. Harry gulped. I just wondered if I could have my book back. Get out! Out! Harry left before Snape could take any more points from Gryffindor. He sprinted back upstairs. Did you get it? Ron asked as Harry joined them. What's the matter? In a low whisper, Harry told them when he'd seen. You know what this means? He finished briskly. He tried to get past the three-headed dog at Halloween. That's where he was going to when we saw him. He's after whatever is guarding. And I'd bet my broomsticks he let the troll in to create the diversion. Hermione's eyes were wide. No, he wouldn't, he said. I know he's not very nice, but he wouldn't try to steal something Dumbledore was keeping safe. Honestly, Hermione, you think all teachers are saints or something, snapped Ron. I'm with Harry. I wouldn't put anything past Snape. But what's he after? What's the guarding? Harry went to bed with his head buzzing with the same question. Neville was snoring loudly, but Harry couldn't sleep. He tried to empty his mind. He needed to sleep. He had to. He had his first Quidditch match in a few hours, but the expression on Snape's face when Harry had seen his leg wasn't easy to forget.